Karate Man took, really paid off. Got him that gold, and that's how it starts. It snowballs to the next one,
No, I get you. I get you. And with that, for LSU jumping back, because we did have a little bit of stream issue, that was Team Big Bad Beans pulling off a silver and a gold medal, with Team Muff Boys pulling up 2 bronze medals. Team Muff Boys needs your energy. Root for them in the chat. But if you're a Bad Beans fan, please root for them in the chat instead. But guys, what this round is, we're looking at 2 crowns, which is 1470, and then that 105, so 1575 kudo difference. And if we see anything more than that going into the next round, it's going to start becoming a little risky for what Team Muff Boys is going to have to do to come back. And we're seeing a really quick round, so we'll see. You have to go for that 8-7, I would think, in this scenario, right, Joshin?
Yeah, I completely agree. You want, if you're Muff Boys, you gotta risk it. It's not a custom game where you have to be perfect to qualify. So now what you want to do is get that gold. And if you can't get that gold, you can still get a silver even if you mess up once, even twice, based on the NPCs. So in this sort of situation, you just full dive, go for that gold, and if it doesn't work out, you're still gonna make it anyways.
Yeah, and it does look like they're going to get a silver at least for one, and the second silver is they were all top 4. But that's another gold medal going to Team Big Bad Beans, and Muff Boys is going to have to come back just that much more every single time.
Yeah, the snowball is just getting bigger and bigger. And this is what sorry.
I was going to say, this is just going to end up having to be a very aggressive game by Team Muff Boys in round 4 if this keeps up, especially if Team Big Bad can pull another crown. That's just going to put them that much further ahead. However, again, Team Muff Boys can still fight for that final crown. If they do get a crown, or even better yet, a round where they can double crown, they're going to put themselves in quite the strategic position to pull ahead and really turn this game around.
Yeah. It's just about finding out what the final map is gonna be, and then playing to your best strengths.
Yeah, and with 22 people, we are not seeing a final, but something we can see is interesting. We could see a basketball team game, but we're going to get into a slime scraper, and I wonder, are any of these teams going to get a bit grabby? With Team Big Bad so far ahead, they could go for some interesting plays, and Muff Boys might start thinking it's looking a little bit more appetizing with the further that this distance is growing between them two.
Yeah, there's like 3 different ways to play this map right now based on the positions these players are in. Let's find out. Look, I'm not sure if Karate Man is gonna go for that checkpoint. Probably not, just to play it safe. Oh, Fall Guys gamer feeling confident today. Just going for that checkpoint.
Yeah, that's a scary maneuver right there, to do that and hope no one touches you at all.
Yep.
But you can see Karate Man. I was going to say, you can see Karate Man and Fall Guys pretty much staying up there 1-2, but Bubba Nesh pulling ahead of Karate Man. But Gamer is just running through, and this is the question, will Gamer push it through? But you see some grabs going on. They're getting a little handsy here.
Yeah, so basically Karate Man, he didn't really... I don't think he was looking for a kill there. I think he was looking more so for just to slow Bubba Nesh down so that his teammate could get that crown. Not crown, sorry. That gold medal, my bad. So they're just going to keep pushing that kudos lead further and further away. And I assume now Karate Man is going to go for a few grabs at these intersections here, where you obviously, I think everyone knows the grabbing mechanic here in this section. But he's just going to get that gold, playing it safe.
Yep, I mean, they have the advantage. They don't really need it all that much. They made sure that they got the gold already, so that's going to be big for them. That's another gold, though, going in favor of Team Big Bad Beans. They're just taking this match apart, really, and just going with every advantage they can get as these NPCs are starting to come through. So, guys, like, the Muff Boys need to figure out what they want to do and how they want to do it quick. There's not much time for them to pull up a strategy. They have 2 more rounds in this final coming up, and that's about it.
Yeah, I get trying to reach the final, but maybe they could have waited Actually, no, Karate Man was second. Never mind. Yeah, so they because of these kudos lead that is bringing up, they're gonna have to get grabby to make some opportunities for themselves, or else Big Bad Beans are just gonna play passively the entire 5 games and just gonna beat them by kudos. Play-
Yeah, what's going to be very interesting is there's a lot of players qualifying from this match. It does look like we're going to get an 11 qual unless something fancy happens here, and then we might get a team game still out of it.
Yes, I agree with you.
Yeah, big fans does seem to time out a good bit.
Seems like they both will make it. Yep.
Yeah, they ended up
But-
making it. The guy wasn't good enough at pushing the other person down the hill.
If that was third round, that should be another map. Because
Yeah, we
the
can get a
game
race.
really
We
likes
might be
5
able to
games.
get. Yeah, we might get that round 4 final, which does occasionally happen. But you are right that we can still see one more race if it does pop up.
Hexagon. This is exactly what Big Bad Beans want to see.
Yeah, single crown options, not these double ones. They want to see a lot of people so that way they can focus the game. And honestly, they're in a position where it doesn't even matter if they win the crown. They just need to make sure Muff Boys does not win the crown in this scenario. They have that big of an advantage that they can kind of just chill out. So we'll get to see how they play it. But I expect to see Karate Man going for hard grabs and only cutoffs or anything. You already see him going for that cutoff, and now he's with his teammate dropping down. Just immediately going to cut the other side off, trying to make sure that there's no space for anyone. And a really good drop down there from Thick Daddy.
Yeah, I want to add, because there is 6 other randoms here, Muff Boys actually have an opportunity to sneak a win here, because not only but that's gonna depend on how Big Bad Beans want to play it. If they want to play it, you can just assign one person to one person, and just make sure all 4 of them lose, and that could be a viable strategy for them right now. But let's see what they do.
Yeah, Karate Man making a little bit of space, but got cut off by a person dropping ahead. And who is that on the other side? Was that? It does look like there's one person from Muff Boys who was a little high, had a couple spaces left, but not too much to work with. But Karate Man has basically gave himself real estate for a year. If Gamer runs this map out, it's over.
I just want to add that Babanash just did a god jump.
Ooh.
So that's pretty cool stuff. Okay. Let's see. Where's the Thick Daddy Tom now? Oh,
Did you see that by Karate Man? With that should be Karate Man's game, and that is the crown. 3 crowns and 5 medals in favor of Team Big Bad. The Muff Boys are coming into round 4, and they need to figure out what they're doing. So let's look at that a little more in detail once we get back to the analyst desk.
Let's go. GG's.
Joshin, I want you to tear that hexagon apart. There was a lot going on, and I need you to tear that apart for me.
All right. So it all started when both of the Big Bad Beans happened to be on an island of hexes on purple. Fall Guys Gamer just dropped, gave Karate Man all that space. By the time Karate Man was done, he had the perfect drop on Thick Daddy Tom, just snatched the title away from them. Honestly, all I can say is they shouldn't have let that purple section there to begin with. Obviously, anything could have happened. I actually, the stream lagged for a bit, and I couldn't see the POV from Babanash, and I think Babanash was on the other side of purple, so by the time he dropped, he couldn't actually reach the other side. So that purple section was that one moment where Karate Man had the opportunity, all right, and then he took it. By the time he dropped, it was a really good play. I saw that at the end. Honestly, can't say anything more. Karate Man really killed that one. And also Fall Guys Gamer, really good move in the moment to just quickly drop. just to leave any extra tiles that could have been detrimental.
Yeah, and with this big advantage that's gonna come once we get this scores updated, it's gonna be a lot of work. Muff Boys really into this round 4, thinking it's time to kill. There's nothing else you could be trying to do. You need to get your hands on these beans. You need to pull them down however it comes down. Survival rounds is what you want to see right now. And even if you just see survival rounds, that's not enough. You need a couple medals in addition to that, because you're already behind 3 crowns, and on top of being behind 3 crowns, you're behind 4 or 5 medals. I forget which, but that's a lot to come back from just 2 rounds itself. So you got to figure out the medals even before you can try and figure out these crowns.
Now, it may seem like it's all over, especially for the way Muff Boys may want to be thinking. Two maps, like three wins. But honestly, you got to go all out. 4th game, 5th game, like I said, anything can happen. This is the time where you need to think, okay, it seems we may not have a chance, but that should take the pressure off a bit so that they can go all out. Do their absolute best, go out with a bang, even if they lose, even if they showed up and proved the point today. It's all about the again, I have to really say this game is 50% mental in terms of how you're supposed to be competitively.
Yeah, like you said. But first off, let's get those scores updated. As you see at the bottom, we got Big Bad Bean sitting up there at a comfortable 42.85, but don't get too comfortable like we're saying. And the Muff Boys behind at 19.05, more than double their score. Muff Boys is going to really have to figure out what they're going to do in these last 2. And one of those last 2 literally needs to be a double crown at this point, or they need a really early double elim to really make some space for themselves. But again, Big Bad Beans, you're not done yet. You still got 2 games. You can't sit there and think, oh, I'm just going to make it a walk in the park, because if they get that easy grab on you and you lose out on 400 kudos all of a sudden, that's going to be a big hit to your lead, and that's going to be something the Muff Boys are going to take advantage of. So as we're going to be getting into the next round, we'll be getting everything set up and stuff as we got the scores in. Round 4 is going to be detrimental, because honestly, Muff Boys also needs to keep in mind, if Big Bad takes 1 more crown, there's nothing to do. If Muff Boys don't even get the crown this round, there's nothing you can do. Like, being out 3 crowns going into a final round, can't, and there's nothing that's going to be the end of the game right there.
Yeah, this is do or die for Muff Boys right now.
So what's something that you think Muff Boys really needs to focus on out of what you've been seeing in that last round? Do you think their grabs are good? What do you think is the biggest quality they have, and what's the biggest weakness you're seeing they have right now?
I honestly cannot give a proper opinion in terms of their teamwork, because I didn't see Daddy Tom's POVs on those 3 maps. So, but based off 1 hex and based off the 1 hex, it seems like a bit of extra teamwork could have definitely played out better there, and as well as map awareness for the 3rd hexagon that they lost. That section of purple should have never existed, in my opinion. It's something that I know it's frantic. I know,
I don't mean to cut you off here. Yeah. But we do need to jump into our next game. So we're going to be jumping into round 4 and seeing what happens when Muff Boys takes on Big Bad Beans. And it looks like we're getting ourselves getting ourselves into a nice hit parade. And it does look like Karate Man's just going to keep this up with another gold run potentially if played right.
And he went the ideal route. Yeah, he's definitely getting this gold if he doesn't have any bad hits at the donuts.
Yeah, as long as, these donuts are going to be everything. We do have some early fast donuts, so that could be interesting. Running right through the middle, not carrying. This should be an easy run right down the middle. And Yeah, and
Straight up.
even with that, Fall Guys gamer right behind him, 2, 3, and 4. But you saw right there, Thick Daddy Tom cruising up, got a good boost. But this is Hit Parade. Honestly, Muff Boys do want to get these golds, but they also are just kind of hoping not to see race rounds at this point. Where Team Big Bad Beans is just like, give us race rounds. They can't stop us in a race round. We just qualify. So
No,
rounds you
I
saw in
kinda,
1 and 2 where it was
slightly
survival game,
disagree there.
survival game,
Muff Boys,
survival game.
as much as
exactly it.
they need the races, because even if they tie, even if they get a double crown and a crown for the final game, it's still gonna come down to those 6 medals that they're behind. They need those medals. They need those races. They need to start getting those golds, and maybe get a bit grabby. Make them get a few bronzes. Some of these plays could always come
and
into
the
really
getting
help
that medal
later on.
advantage is also advantageous. But also this, like I said, the survival games can also go for the kills. So I mean, you have options here, but it all depends on what the team's more comfortable with. And with a slime scraper, you got the best of both options. You can go for kills and you can go for a gold medal at the same time.
Yeah, this is the best of both worlds. Literally what we were talking about.
The question is, are we going to see if anyone goes after Fall Guys Gamer? Because he did take that corner jump, so someone might go for a cheeky grab. And if you get that, that's over for Fall Guys Gamer if he goes for it again. If he's on the left side, which it doesn't look like he's going for it. But is Bubba Nesh going to try it? No, it does look like he waited, though, just in case. Oh, he actually knocked him off!
No. His jump got eaten. I'm very sure his jump got eaten. He rushed
That's
his...
going to be big. So now those medals that we were talking about don't matter. They're going to make up the medals just by qualifying. So all they need to worry about is getting a double crown and a crown, and there's nothing else you can do. You just are hoping for a double crown option. And you see Karate Man racing to get first only so he can at least limit the damage that was done. But as I was saying, that is exactly the issue that came up right there. Was Fall Guys Gamer went for that corner jump and got denied going for it.
This is where I said you cannot get too overconfident, because if this goes into a jump showdown and Karate Man gets double teamed, then that's a free double crown, and they're just ahead one medal, one win, and it's like, and let's hope this doesn't affect the next game, because one mistake like that could really affect the mental for the next one. I think what happened earlier was he full popped Bubba Nesh, and sometimes when you do that, your jump straight up doesn't work. You run full and then you just walk off the map, and that's exactly what happened there. It was literally how do you call it? Team Muff Boys. They got like a straight flush right there from the cards that they were dealt.
Something that was interesting, though, is as much as it was good for Karate Man to go for the gold, I'm surprised, even if Karate Man would have risked dying himself, going and killing the NPCs would have been valuable just to make sure you're going to a final in this scenario so you don't lose as much. Because if enough people qualify and you get another race, that's going to be just extra kudos that Muff Boys can pile. And it does look like we're going to break that 10 marker, so we could be walking into a race here. Like I said, a race is just extra kudos. And if we get to that 12, it's a team game, which is just extra kudos in the bank for Muff Boys.
I agree with you. In addition, Karate Man could have opted to suicide one of the players, because where's the double crown when only one guy reaches the final? You know?
Yeah, it does look like we're going to get 11 as we're waiting for this NPC to be the final one who wants to qualify at the last second. So there we go. We did get everyone in. So if we get a race, this is going to be big in Muff Boy's position, and they can literally focus it. And honestly, even better yet, if they walk into a tiptoe and get a little grabby or a Hoopsie Heroes, they could really make a big change in this game if they go after Karate Man and don't let him qual.
Yeah, let's find out what the next map is. This is going to be really important.
Ooh.
Exactly. This is nice.
You see
Come
Bubba
on,
Nesh,
let's do
he looked up, he knew it. He's like, this is it. This is the
Oh,
comeback. This is the
it.
double crown. Karate Man
This is
only
it.
has one goal here, though. Karate Man really should only be thinking, it doesn't even matter if I die, I just need to kill one of them. And if you kill one of them, you've shut.
NPCs until we have to.
This is the team that needs to survive. And the two are probably going to stay together most of the game just to make sure they're good, because they need to back each other up against Karate Man. Otherwise, Karate Man's going to take a huge advantage.
Karate Man needs to jump back right now, and he does so. Yep. It seems like Karate Man is just doing the basics, chilling for a bit, seeing how the situation is gonna be, and then making his play as.
Oh
my God! What a grab! They need to calm down. They really. We're excited. We're the casters, but they need to calm down. They absolutely need to just relax, take their time.
Yep. And as you can see, they just are waiting. They got 5 minutes to go. That is all we can do. We are just going to be able to watch Bubba Nesh, and we're going to be able to watch Thick Daddy Tom. They just need to go this 5 minutes, get this double crown, and they are in this game again, because with that death, that's also the Kudo advantage that they had right there made back as well. Part of it, not all of it, but this could be a huge amount, because you also get the extra 35 for that extra crown as well. Instead of just getting one crown, you get 2 crowns worth plus an extra 35, which is going to be interesting. And their whole board is gone. This is going to be easy. They don't even have people to worry about.
This is like us talking this into reality. The odds. Oh,
Yeah,
it's
but
amazing.
you still got. This is still going to be really sweaty, because you can definitely know, you keep seeing that shoulder move by Bubba Nesh. That is Bubba Nesh wiping his hands on his shorts, on his jeans, whatever he's wearing. He's like, my hands are sweaty. I need to dry them out. But Bubba fell, and you can see it. That was the opportunity given to them. Thick Daddy Tom needs to get this, because if Thick Daddy Tom doesn't at least get this, they don't even have a chance, because they need to at least double crown the next round. And it's going to be hard to see a jump showdown or a rollout come out again, a roll-off come in again. So you see it in the face of Bubba Nesh. He knows what he did. This was the opportunity handed to him, and he messed it up right there.
I was so excited. I knew it. They got too excited. They needed to stay focused, because that was one of those moves that even some of the best players make the mistake of going all the way back, and the cycle is just too slow, and poop, you're off the map.
Yeah. But again, this is going to be a good time. This is a good time. Bubba Nesh, all he needs to do is he just needs to chill out. He just needs to breathe. He just needs to think about what's going on. He's got one more round, and he just needs to assume his teammate's going to win and just be ready for that 5th round, just for the best case scenario, which does happen. We get the win for Thick Daddy Tom, which is going to put us into round 5. And switch back to the analyst desk.
That's literally all we have.
That
So
was
guys, we're gonna be
very
getting those
exciting.
scores up. Yeah, we're gonna get those scores updated to you as soon as I can. But honestly, well played, Slime Scraper by Team Muff Boys. They just couldn't cut it out there in the final jump showdown. They had great rounds, making sure they did what they could with what they were given. Anything better you think they could have done besides getting that double crown right there?
Honestly, no, they got everything. They were handed everything, just had to time it out, and it all came down to that. Now, because if they had timed that out, all they had to do was win another crown, and they're through. Because I'm sure that the death of Fall Guys Gamer made it that they would actually. We're gonna have to see the difference first. I think we see the difference first, then we can judge the plays they can make the final game. But honestly, they were given that, and they didn't take the opportunity.
I believe it's gonna be a 790 90-point swing, if I'm not mistaken, towards Muff Boys because of the extra round base points. But we are getting those scores with Big Bad Beans at 47-25, Muff Boys at 31-40. We are seeing a 1570 difference. So that's 3 medals and 2 crowns. Wait. Yeah, 3 medals, 2 crowns, and you're ahead by 5. So that's the difference Muff Boys needs. They need 3 medals and 2 crowns, which is not impossible. Like, getting 3 medals in a round, not the hardest thing in the world to do. You just really got to focus up and you really got to be ready. But also, if you get an early kill again, that can really change the outcome. But Big Bad Beans, they have some interesting strategies at their hand, and it's really, even if both of them die, if someone on Muff Boys doesn't qualify, it's over. Muff Boys has to get both people to the finals. They have to make up 3 crowns or 3 medals worth of difference. Then it also needs to be a jump showdown. It has to be a roll-off. It has to be the luckiest fall mountain ever, or it has to be a super low-qual thin ice or hexagon where they get early kills. They can do it, but it's going to be interesting across the board, and we're going to have to see what's going to happen. There are possibilities, but Muff Boys needs to play out of their minds at this point to be able to make up some of this distance.
Yeah, honestly, at this point in time, they just gotta move on from that 4th game. They still have a 5th game. Again, same exact scenario could happen. Imagine 4th game, copy paste it into 5th game. DYNASTY learned his lesson. Timeout, double crown timeout. Boom, they're through. Like I said, if it could happen in the 4th game, it can happen in the 5th game. They just gotta keep at the pressure and see what happens from there.
Because something big is if you make it to round. Go ahead.
Speaking of which, me and Kareem double crowned Fall Mountain against free agents 2 days ago. I think it's the first ever double crown on Fall Mountain in a competitive setting for duos. Ever. I don't think I've ever seen another double crown for...
All right. But we're going to have to cut off. I'm sorry to cut you in your story, but we are getting into round 5, and we're getting ourselves into a Tundra run. So let's switch right over.
This is going to be interesting. Spawns is really important here, because if you get a lead and you don't mess up, you're easily getting that gold. But let's see what happens.
As you say that, and Karate Man and Fall Guys Gamer both have that lead. Gamer Falls and just keeping it and running away with this. He knows medals are just as important as ever. That's the thing they really need to care about is just qualify early, and the other team can't win. It's over. Misses the Superman, so that could give a little bit of an advantage to Bubba Nesh and Thick Daddy Tom if they can pull it off. But it does look like there's an NPC who's going to pull that first up, which does pull back the medal advantage, going even more in the favor of Team Big Bad Beans, as long as everyone else still can get that silver medal.
Seems like they're all having silver medals, but Thick Daddy Tom is going to get a bronze here. So they're going to be 1 medal behind.
Yeah, that's going to put them a 4th medal that they're going to have to make up and hope they can pull apart. 4 medals going into round 2. Again, not the hardest. Basically, all I think they care about is they don't want races anymore. At this point, they know that they've been losing to the races 4 rounds in a row. They have not been able to beat Big Bad Beans in races. They need survival rounds. Honestly, I bet their hope is let's see ourselves a rollout. A rollout in this next game would be perfect for Muff Boys.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree there. Earlier on, passivity was the key, but if a rollout comes out now, you're gonna see grabs. You're gonna see grabs left, right, and center.
Yeah, Big Bad Beans is probably going to play it as safe as possible, or they're going to try and suicide with someone. Because if they do get this a correct suicide with one of the players of Muff Boys, it's over for Muff Boys. They still need to make it to the finals, but they do need these kills to take a little bit of an advantage. But every race has been in the favor of Big Bad Beans, so that's all you can ask for is you just don't want races. Maybe even a hoverboard heroes could be an interesting round for Muff Boys.
It's Slime Scraper again. Oh my god.
Or
Scraper.
Lose our medals this time also.
the only thing
Oh.
that's a little problematic with this is even if you do get the kills you need, that does not you may just go straight to a final and not earn enough kudos. But you do get going into a round 3, you get 50 kudos. All right, so I have a score. We have Slightly Salty is winning against Dynasty. Dynasty is at 1155, and Slightly Salted, I'm going to get a confirmation of what that is so I don't give you the wrong number.
I think it was 1205.
1205. So this is actually going to be really interesting for Slightly Salty because they could take an advantage over this and potentially tie for second place. Karate Man not getting 1205, but Karate Man not getting the best run that he could, allowing Bubba Nesh to potentially take first, but I don't expect anything but Bubba Nesh to turn around at the end and go for grabs. He has to go
He's waiting,
for greedy.
yeah.
He's waiting because that's all he can do. He's got to go for greedy plays.
It's a must because let's say they get this gold medal. There's still 3 medals behind, and more than likely they're gonna be 11, 12-man quals right here.
And you saw
even if it gives an extra round, I don't think it's enough for him to catch up in the kudos, even with a double crown.
And with Gamer running ahead, that's actually going to be pretty interesting because Gamer's going to go for that first place. But now you're getting problematic. If you mess up this jump, it's over for you. And they got Karate Man.
Oh, come on, man.
This is going to be a big potential turnaround.
I think Karate Man got desynced by Bubba. I could be wrong, but that's what I saw.
I don't know, but it is dangerous because that's going to be the kudo lead right there. If they can get enough people to qual, it does look like Fall Guys Gamer went and qual, didn't want to mess around with anything, needs to get in, so he's at least there as a problem for all these other teams. But now it's just you need Bubba Nesh and Thick Daddy Tom to qualify, but they still are not out of this. They need a game where they can double crown on top of that. Because there was at least a medal advantage going towards Big Bad Beans still.
Yes. Do you think... okay, how many players left, right? Is that 1 player? How many players? 2? If there's another round, they just need to double crown. But if it's a direct final, I'm not sure it's going to be enough to... I'm not sure it's going to be enough to catch up on that kudos, even with a double crown. What do you think?
Like, with right now, you're only going to go into 4th round. You're going to gain 35 kudos because you got 2 silvers and against that gold. And if so you're going into the final and you're going to get... So you've gained 1 medal, which puts you at 3, and then only 70 kudos for making it to this round. So that's only 2 more medals. So you're still behind 1 medal and 2 crowns. Even if you double crown this as Muff Boys, it would have been a game over for you in that scenario. But I do want to see Muff Boys get the win because I want to see what the score difference would have been if they pulled that double crown out.
Agreed. That is agreed. Let's hope they can clutch this one out. I'm sure they can. It's a 2v1, but let's see what happens.
Yeah, in this scenario, all Gamer wants to do, and he just is messing around. I see him making some crazy plays. He's just jumping around, not taking it as seriously. Whereas, really, Bubba Nesh and
he knows it's over. He knows he won. He doesn't care anymore to win. He just wants to have some fun. I get it.
It's still a really close score that you would not want to risk if the opposing team can make a double out of this if they kill off their opponents far enough. So he just needs to run off. As long as he's running, it's pretty good, and he'll be able to make a play from it. But if he stops running,
what he's doing.
Anything could happen.
Yeah, I still think Fall Guys Gamer is the type of guy who's gonna pay attention in detail. So even with a double crown, he's gonna think, all right, even with a double crown, they can't win. So it's over, because that's what I do. I'm very attentive to the detail because 1 medal difference could change a strategy entirely. So that's why I love knowing exactly what our differences are. And if he's like that, then he for sure knows that they won it.
Bubba Nesh making God jumps like It's no one's
He's
business
so good at god
over
jumps. He
here,
did one
and
like
he's gonna fall down
easily
to
earlier.
purple. But it does look with the time that this is gonna be out of time for Muff Boys. But they definitely want to at least win this final, because at least winning here will give them the satisfaction of knowing that they just didn't get completely shut out. It was a close game that they could have made a difference. And honestly, just missing a win by one little thing. Oh my lord, this is a lot of space,
Look at all that
and that's
space.
both their teammates. What are they doing? I'm not
Don't
gonna
try to shove it
lie.
off. Okay,
I'm not gonna lie. What they could have done there is if they were brave enough and they tried to share tiles, they may have had what they wanted. But if you look at Fall Guys Gamer's above him. He could have stopped that in a moment's notice. He's still trying to win, and he messed up. He dropped down to blue, just gonna get over to the good side.
I think he dropped that on purpose. He's trying to cut himself a space to win the game, based on the positioning of Thick Daddy and. But I could be wrong. His jump could have gotten eaten. But
Oh, he tries to go across, and you see Bubba Nesh
Wait.
backing out. He already lost. He's getting his kudos and everything.
It's gonna go to an NPC.
So it looks like an NPC is going to win it. And with that, guys, that's going to be the end of round 5. That's 100% sure. I'm going to say 99% sure Big Bad Beans, because I want to spoil it for anyone just in case something weird happens with the scores that we don't know about. But to me, it looks like Big Bad Beans pulled this away. But let's go back to the analyst desk and tear that apart.
Dominated the first 3 games.
Honestly, Muff Boys started turning it around when they were grabbing and getting some games going around. They were really tearing it up there when they were playing in Slime Scraper. 2 rounds in a row, they made sure they killed someone, and that was big for them. Honestly, Muff Boys had that in their back pocket the whole time and knew they could have done that. They probably should have been or not greedy, a little grabby, a little more aggressive in the early rounds 1, 2, and 3, because even if it is smart to play passive, if you are better at playing aggressive, you need to come out aggressive if you can't play that passive game. Muff Boys definitely messed it up there with that jump showdown in the first round. That would have given them a little bit of an extra, probably a bit of a motivator coming into this round to play a little better, especially walking into a hexagon. They knew it was going to happen. They were going to play their best and go into this. And honestly, I think they played their last 2 rounds really as well as they could have. They could have played that hexagon there at the end a little cleaner if they were going for the win, but I understand if they were trying to double time it out why they stayed together.
yeah, honestly, I love the performance. The last 2 games, it shows us what could have been. It's exactly it. You know, they were like, okay, it's now or never, and that's what happened. They showed up. They almost. I'm gonna be honest. They could have definitely pulled it off. Couple of different decisions here and there. Maybe first 1 to 3 games. Imagine one of those matches that they let Big Bad Beans win. They just decided, you know what? If I'm not gonna win, you're not gonna win, and they would have had 2 crowns with a double timeout. You know, so many what ifs and what could have beens.
Yeah, it's so hard to approach a game. The thing, though, that's always good to think about, and this is what I want our top 4 teams to think about when they're coming is, but wait, I see deleting of scores, which usually means that we're going to get an update as soon as we can. So as soon as we see that, I will shout out a winner, which we have Muff Boys at 36.05, and then the Big Bad Beans at 51.65, which confirms it. Big Bad Beans, winner of week 5, game of the week, and they are going on to place 4th, getting seed number 4, and just scraping by, making it to that final 4, and where we're going to make the playoffs. And something I want to point out here, let's add 1470 to that score.
Yeah,
1470 would put you, which is the 2 crowns that we're talking about. They would have won the last one, and then if they won the and then if we win if they won that last one and they got the double in the round in game 4, that 1470 would put them at 50.75, which is only behind 3 medals to win, not 3 medals to tie, 3 medals to win.
Yeah, all these small details is exactly why you gotta pay attention from the very first map, second map, third map. It all adds up. Honestly, this I'm very happy with their performance at the last 2 games, and it's like Big Bad Beans showed up the first 3, and then Muff Boys showed up the last 2, and they really showed the best of their abilities. It's just that one side didn't get as lucky as the other, but one side really was not lucky. How do you say? They they persevered a bit extra. I'm kind of losing my wording here, but you get my point, right?
I gotcha. But something that we got to do really quick is I want to completely update you a little bit more. We have we got Big Bad Beans going 10-6 going to Big Bad Beans. And so they're 10-6, which Slightly Salty's at 10-5. So interestingly enough, if Slightly Salty does not pull off this win against Dynasty, they're actually going to be tied for 3rd place at that moment, and that's going to bring some interesting moments into the future for us. But it does seem our production crew wants to switch over to that Slightly Salted versus Dynasty game. So don't leave, don't click anywhere. We're going to see what we can do for you and see if we can get that up and started. But honestly, that was really well played. Like you said, Big Bad Beans came out the gates swinging, and Muff Boys there at the end. They just got to get warmed up, but they just couldn't make it. That one crown difference and that crown at the end still wasn't enough. But those kills definitely made it so that huge lead, because I don't think they won a single race. I think every race was won by Big Bad Beans, and that was still only a 3-medal lead because you got those 2 eliminations.
Yeah, this also points out the importance of races to begin with, if you're consistent with them, especially if you have a bit of bad luck in terms of getting eliminated. It definitely helps, because even with the double crown and even with the hex win, they would have not won, only because Big Bad Beans were slightly more consistent in races than Muff Boys were.
Yeah, definitely the consistency is going to be big. And that's it. The races do so much. In a Kudos base map, every single win just pulls you that much further ahead. The crown does mean a lot, but if you can just go even on crowns and win races, you're always going to win every single time. And that's about how the game works. You just need to be ready for finals, but you need to be dominating race after race after race, just because a Kudo-based tournament is very different than a crown or score-based tournament that you'll see in like a squads mode or something.
Yeah, 100%. It's I'd say a whole different ball game. Really tests different skill sets that players have.
Yeah, something important I'm going to tell all the folks at home. So just so you know, your final 4 that you will see in the tournament for sure, if I'm not mistaken, is going to be Dynasty, God Jumps, Slightly Salty, and Big Bad Beans. That's your top 4. The order can shift around, but that is the current order 1st through 4th, and it can shift around based on how these games end up. And it looks like we're going to switch over, and we do have Slightly Salted versus Dynasty going on right now. Once we get a confirmation of what round and the scores, but we do see, first off, let me point out the Cajun fries from Slightly Salty ready to go. We see
Oh
Soul
my
Scream.
god, he got so unlucky. He got smacked off the map. He really needs a good yeet now. But it's still 3rd map.
Oh my lord, another banana. We turn over.
It's,
Reserve's having the time of his life right now. He's a fry, not a banana. He is not ready for this.
He can still make this,
decent...
I think. No,
it depends. These people need to mess up, yeah.
Dude, that was so bad. Unlucky. I can't say more than that.
And the scores, by the way, for your update,
you
you see at the bottom is 19-10 to Slightly Salted, and Dynasty up 28-05. So that's actually going to be really big for Dynasty, and we'll see what they can have. Just so you all know, we are aware that Slightly Salted and Dynasty's names up top are on the wrong side. Soul is part of Dynasty, and Reserve Comic is part of Slightly the Fry, just so you know, but our production team is working on that right now as we speak. But we're going to be getting into shots. It's going to be an easy qual unless you want to see any fancy hands going, because what round, well, as soon as production gets to me on this too, we'll know what round we are currently
This is 4th round right now.
It is the 4th round?
Was 3rd round. Yes. This.
I'm talking in this set of 5 matches.
Oh, my bad. I thought we were talking about. Yeah, this is.
Okay.
Yeah, third match.
This is
think
the
if-
third match that we are in. And with that kind of lead, it is possible for Salty to catch up. And honestly, though, with Reserve dying so early, this is going to give Dynasty just a little bit more of a lead to hold this comfort. Because if Dynasty can pull this off, they'll currently be 12-3 and pretty much setting themselves up to take the first seed. They'll just have to go through God jumps eventually.
It seems like the maps are 2-1 right now. If it's gonna be tough because this is Smok's time to shine. He needs to win this map because if he does not, even if he suicides with Dynasty, even with winning the last map, it's like they need to win 2 maps to catch up with the Kudos, and as well as Reserved Comic not making the next round. That's all adding up. That's gonna add up to like a half a win. So they need to have a not only one win. They not only need to have a, how do you call it? They need a 1-win advantage on them basically, like mathematically.
And we'll get to, as soon as we're done with this, it's only round 3. We'll have 2 more matches after this to look at. We'll be able to look at this, get a little bit more in depth on it, and we'll let our analysts take care of that. Because what we're here to do is talk to you about some thin ice that we're going to be getting into, and it's a 2v1. So I expect to see this map cut in half very quickly.
Yeah, agreed. I'm gonna see Ryan chase Smok all over the map. If I'm being honest, Soul is gonna do his own thing. But Smok, don't get me wrong, he's a good player. He definitely can clutch this up with a few movements here and there. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. It is going to be completely up to Smok to do this, and you see Smok already going for some dive jumps and immediately running over. You see running through his teammates, just trying to check what's going on with everyone else. And it looks like Dynasty wants to cut this map towards the center and actually wants to play a grab game. I'm actually surprised that they don't want to opt for cutting it in half and just running out the side that Smok's on.
I think they're more confident in their skills in terms of survivability because if the ice is smaller, right, and one guy can just focus on trying to win, and one guy can focus on making sure Smok doesn't win. You know, when you have that 2v1, these strategies happen.
Yeah, and also since we did see that Dynasty does have an advantage in score, if I'm not mistaken. The score could have been flipped, so we'll confirm that as soon as well. But if Dynasty does have that advantage, they don't even need the win. They just need to constantly focus on shutting down their opponents left and right. And you see them getting really close on killing Smok there. Smok's just got to stay away. Soul is on his tail, and Soul's down.
Yeah, exactly.
And Smok is a god, apparently, and we're running out of space, and that's going to be Reserved down, too. Is this going to be Smok making the comeback? There's a lot of spaces for this beam.
No way.
Is this who I think it is?
Smok?
Smok going from caster to tourney winner, getting a crown for his team, clutching up. And Smok just doing so well. You see Comic so happy with his Cajun fries and getting a win right there. So let's switch back over to the analyst desk and talk about what we just saw.
Oh my god. This is exactly what I was talking about. We got to see the score now so we can...
Yeah, we'll get the scores once we get back to the analyst desk and see everything there. Guys, that was...
Oh, that was something else.
That was interesting.
You can see the moment of hesitation from Ryan. I think Ryan should have just said, you know what, Soul's dead. I don't know. I don't know what he was thinking in the time. Maybe he saw an opportunity, but he's like, Soul's dead. There's a random NPC right there. Let me just take Smok out and keep our win advantage and not give him anything at all, you know?
Yeah, definitely should have suicided there, looking at this distance and score.
Yeah. But honestly, anything could have happened. Maybe Ryan saw an opportunity to win, but he just couldn't get that jump, or anything could have happened, you know? In the moment, I say this, I do this, do that, but I could have maybe done exactly what he did. It's just in the moment, you know.
No, I gotcha. And honestly, before this round, we're looking at that's 895 point lead right there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 895 right there. That's
That
enough. That 735 is going to cut into it, and we're talking games by the medals going into round 4. So Slightly Salty and Dynasty are gonna really have to figure out what's going on, because again, if Slightly Salty pulls this win out of the bag, they're gonna be there at 11 wins with Dynasty, with God Jumps, and it's going to be an interesting setup going to see what happens with these couple extra games that we have yet to play for this final week of the KOZ League.
Yeah, pretty exciting stuff. Yeah, looks like I'm really excited to see because it seems, based on just a educated guess, that they're about half a win in difference. So whoever, if reserved, can win a game and tie the last game, or tie and then win the last game, they're winning. It's like now it's Dynasties to lose. Dynasty needs to really solidify their lead right now. Make sure that Slightly Salty doesn't get that win, because if they get that win, then they're gonna be behind about several hundred kudos. We'll see shortly.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what happens. I'm just waiting to see this update and score, because we don't know which way that the medals are trending for races. But I would like to assume, because of seeing past playstyles, out of these 4 players, Soul is insane at races, and he's insane at getting gold medals, that it's someone that you always want to watch out for, because if you don't pay attention to him, he will get that gold medal and he will just take this slow kudo lead away. So as we are getting the scores updated for match 4, we'll get that all going. Honestly, what do you know about these teams? You've played both of them a couple times. Tell me, what are the best qualities of these teams?
Soul's really consistent. Ryan's an excellent grabber. Smoke is an excellent grabber. Reserved is very consistent as well. It seems like Reserved and Smoke have a really good dynamic. They work together really well. That really boosts their qualities of each other. Other than that, I've played Slightly Salty twice, but it's not enough to, because you're focusing on your own gameplay. Half of it is on their gameplay, so that's about all I can say.
All right, looks like we're going into, apparently that was match 4. Apparently we're going into match 5, a Skyline Stumble with a 560 point lead. That is a crown difference, so that's what the fight is for. So let's get over to the game and see what happens. So a game 5, 560. This is enough for Dynasty is thinking golds, medals, everything, because they can get out of range. They do have that ability if they can pull about all the golds in this map and just try and get the biggest advantage they can. However, Slightly Salted is in a bad position and gets grabbed early.
Soul grabbed him. I saw that. 530 difference, you say? Or was it 560?
Yeah, it's a 560 difference. 560.
How much is that
difference.
from a 560, 40, 35, 75?
You're talking 4 or 5 crowns? 5 crowns.
I don't think that's possible to reach in one map. As long as Slightly Salty are consistent, even not getting golds, they don't even have to get golds. They just both have to get silvers.
Yep.
One
they
bronze,
can't afford a bronze,
silvers.
though.
Maybe. Yeah. I think you're right. But as long as they're consistent, they just keep consistent, get silvers, they will still win as long as they win the map. This is gonna come down to that final game, or it's gonna come down to if a player dies early on. We're gonna have to find out.
Yeah, and I think actually a Royal Stomping winner, I think that's Ryan LYK, pulled off the gold there, was it? Or did he get second place? Because if he didn't get that gold, that's not going to be a big enough advantage. But we do see Soul struggling right now, and that's going to be actually pretty bad because that's already going to be a bronze for Soul. So it looks like that medal advantage is not going to be the play, and this is going to come down to who wins this final.
Agreed. Yeah. This is gonna solidify the fact. Okay. This is gonna solidify the fact that this win, the team that wins, or if Dynasty makes sure everyone loses, that's gonna decide the winner of this matchup.
Yeah, this is definitely. It's going to come down to that. But I don't know because it's going to be interesting. Both teams could passively wait until the final and then just attack each other in the finals, or we might see some hands going in some of the early matches. And honestly, I don't know what to expect because if you can get rid of one of your opponents, that's going to give you a huge advantage in the final that you want. But if you make a mistake and you die and you're in the 2v1 seats, it's going to be a challenge. But we did see Smock just overcome that 2v1, so I don't think it's too much of a worry playing the 2v1 on the Slightly Salty.
If okay, seems like okay. Let's I think SS Dynasty has a bit of room for aggression because even if one of them dies round 3, there's honestly no room for aggression in DoorDash. It's kind of game. They're playing a bit aggressive, and Ryan's maybe gets smacked out. All Soul has to do is just make sure that they don't win the game because Soul it's like because they're still gonna need that win because how do you call it? One guy getting eliminated is not gonna be enough for Slightly Salty to catch up on the kudos difference as it is. They still need the win.
Yeah, and as for some updates, as people are going to run through DoorDash, we're just going to keep an eye on what's going on just in case anyone fails, because it is a round 2 DoorDash, and anything can happen if you get caught in the crowd a little bit. But
Agreed.
guys, if Salty does win this, they are guaranteed a tie for second place. So they will get a chance to tie out and play a tiebreaker for second place for that second seed. Oh my Lord! Last qualify for reserve. Very important because if Slightly doesn't qualify this early, that will give that advantage to Dynasty, and Dynasty not even have to worry about the crown anymore. But that's going to be intense. But going back to what I was saying really quick, if Salty wins after playing like this, getting these 1v2 clutches, getting the last qualify, if they still lose, they're going to tie the Big Bad Beans, for third place, which means either way, if they win or lose, they're either playing for bottom seed or they're playing for second seed. But going into a Hoopsie Heroes right now, oh my Lord, everyone's heart must be racing on the side of Slightly Salty right now.
Yeah, I want to add, Soul did get a gold medal in that DoorDash, so that's 3 medals between him and Reserve based on the qualifications there.
Oh, and that made up that medal count.
Yeah, that if Dynasty gets this first, I don't think they got it. But if they gain 1 or 2 more medals, I think that could put them out of range. We're gonna have to find out.
Yeah, because I think they only lost 1 medal in that first round. So overall, if they gained 3, they're up 2 medals in 2 rounds. So they're keeping pace. It all depends on what they do here because medals can go very differently. But I don't think anyone has made the medal yet. And Soul's gonna have to really gets so lucky. The people don't even care. Dynasty. With that, Salty's going to have to do what they can. I'm sorry, I made a mistake on what was going on. Dynasty is the one winning by the 560. But right now, they're just winning on the medals for this round is what I was speaking about, just to clarify for anyone who was confused. All right, so we're gonna see because the Cajun Fries
Really-
does need to go through, and he's been Reserve's been having some problems. He's been doing some late quals, which is giving those medal advantage because you see everyone's watching Reserved, which means they're waiting for Reserve to finish. Otherwise, this is going to be more of an advantage to Dynasty, who may not have to go for this at the end. We'll see what the score is, but it's going to be definitely hard to keep track of.
Yeah, it seems like if reserves needs to make this because there's guaranteed to be another round. That's gonna really even if Smock somehow pulls the 2v1, that's not gonna put them in range to win the matchup. So reserve, this is all up to him.
One more.
He really needs this last ring. 5 more spots. Let's see if he can get a good spot. Maybe he can get this last ring right here, and he's in. Nice.
Yeah, that is another pink medal though. So depending on what Soul and Ryan got, that's going to give a little bit more of a medal advantage. When we were just talking how they had 2, this could give them that 3rd for sure, and maybe even a 4th. Which then we're talking another round, and they could get that 5th medal we were talking about.
Soul got a silver, I believe. So that's 2 medals. Now, I'm not sure about Ryan or Smock. Say they got the same medals, hypothetically. That's still 2 medals that is it's adding up with the previous DoorDash medals that was 3 difference.
Yeah, I think we're at a 4 medal exchange, and we're talking 5 medal difference to change up the game. At this point, Slightly Salty needs only a team game. They're hoping a team game, so there's no chance at going the other way. They all just make the final and just play it out for the crown, because trying to bank on a first place is going to be too hard, and we're getting really problematic now.
This could be game changer in so many different ways. Not qualifying, getting a pink medal, getting a gold medal. Oh my god. Tail tag is one of the worst for competitive.
Yeah, and it's worse because it's hard to check what medals the opponents are going to be getting, because you can't keep track of them all the time when you got to keep track of your own tail.
Exactly. As well as, honestly, at this rate, this is going directly into a finals. It was 18. Usually that's cut in half. So either 10 or 9 spots left for qualifying this final. So I'm gonna give an educated guess and say this is gonna go directly to the final. So play your best, get as many medals as possible, and then win the final. That's what both these teams need to do right now, because they're not gonna know the medals.
Yeah, and there's no waiting around. Neither one of these teams can do where a lot of players like to do, where they sit around and they'll wait around before they grab the tail in like the last 10 seconds. No one can afford to do that because of the big change. And with that last loss, that's still 30 seconds. You'll still have time to get your tail back, but this is really killing out on Reserve Comics' time that he had with the tail. So that's going to kill his overall score, and he's struggling still. Does pull one back, but again, losing it, this is going to be a problem overall with 15 seconds and rarely having the tail ever.
It's a bronze. If he gets a medal, if he gets a tail now, it's a bronze. He needs a tail though. That's the thing. Don't matter about the medals right now. He needs a tail. I think he's out. Yeah. That's a shame.
Yeah, with that's going to be an elimination. As long as Ryan and Soul both qualified, this is going to be, it should be a straight win for Dynasty, but it's definitely going to be a big challenge on their part, having to come back, because you can still do the 1v2 one more time.
I may be wrong. There's a, you see the black bean.
I'll do my best.
I'm just saying, like.
All right, as we flip over to watch Soul's screen, since Reserve's out, we'll see what is happening on this scenario. With a thin ice, we get to see a repeat of the last game.
Learned for Dynasty against Smock. Maybe some different gameplay could happen.
Yeah, and it's the exact same setup for this thin ice. So the exact same map, the exact same layout. So we'll get to see what happens. Soul's going to be running around, going to be chilling out. Looks like they're just having a good day. They may think they have the advantage, which I do not know, but It's going to be a challenge. They're going to
If-
run out the top layers and maybe play the sides this time, because last time Dynasty ran out the sides instead.
Honestly, I'm gonna go on a limb and say that even with a win, I don't think Smok can catch up. I could be wrong, but it's just the based on the medals, because Dynasty have actually been killing it with medals, including that one game that they didn't that Reserve didn't qualify. I think it's more than a win, but let's find out after this game. I'm sure Smok is doing all he can to win first, and then they can check out the medals later.
Yeah, that's definitely all they got to do, because like figuring out where the medal difference is in that round was definitely even hard for us, because there was so many things that were going on at once that Smok, just like you said, just needs to get the win. Nothing else. Needs to just do what he did last time too, but needs to leave openings to be able to jump to the other side. But you see them going for the suicide. Smok's just trying to get away, do what he can. And we're seeing Ryan get stuck over on his final tiles, but the suicide right there, that's going to confirm it right there. There's no way that you can come back. Well played there by Ryan to be able to make sure he gets the suicide to finish it up.
It's exactly what I said earlier. He literally learned from that fourth game and applied it to this game perfectly.
Yeah. So guys, we're back to our screen. We're back to the analyst desk. Honestly, from what I saw there at the end, that was a game that was really close, back and forth. The tail tag is what did it. Reserve not being able to make the final really put a lot of pressure on Smok, and Smok wasn't able to come back from that. However, with that result, currently there's going to be a tie for third place, which means Slightly Salty and Big Bad Beans are going to be tied for third place, which means they will have a tiebreaker. I do not know the rules for a tiebreaker, but I'm sure that they will get announced to you via Twitter or something, and when it happens. But they're going to be playing for that third seed spot, and then on top of that, Dynasty they'll do apparently we just got update. It will be a head-to-head playoff to be able to confirm that. So Slightly Salty and Big Bad Beans will eventually do a head-to-head to confirm who gets the third seed, while God Jumps and Dynasty pulling up that win, becoming 12-3. God Jumps still has a chance to pull up another win after this and then still play for first place. So Dynasty set themselves up to have a chance for the first seed, and we'll see how this goes as we get further in the KOZ League. But guys, I'll definitely see you next time. And Joshin, you want to say a few words before we go?
It's been an honor. I really enjoyed these two matchups. It was actually really fun. And it was really fun casting with you, Neon. Good experience with you.
Thank
that's
you
about
so
it.
much. Sorry about that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. But KOZ, thank you for having me. Thank you for picking up Josh, and he's been a great help. And guys, as soon as we get to that tournament, you'll be seeing me, and you might see some more familiar faces depending on who we got. Thank you, and have a great one.